Well, good morning. It's Wednesday, the 30th of December. Our top story this morning. An hour ago, it was confirmed that the Oxford-Astra Zeneca vaccine has been approved for use by the UK medicines regulator.
It is the second coronavirus vaccine to be given the green light and is expected to be delivered from next week. Earlier, we spoke to the Health Secretary, Matt Hancock, who said it was good news for everyone.
This is a really significant moment in the fight against this pandemic because the vaccine is the way out. And the approval of the Oxford-AstraZeneca vaccine, it brings forward the date at which we're going to bring this pandemic to an end. And so it's good news for everybody watching and the whole country. This is a real British success story. And so this is really good news this morning that the vaccine's not just been approved, but also that they find that the immunity to the disease comes after around a fortnight after the first dose, which means that we can really accelerate the number of people who get protected.
That was the Health Secretary Matt Hancock speaking to us a little earlier on BBC Breakfast. We're joined now by the BBC's medical editor, Fergus Walsh. Fergus, good morning to you and thank you for joining us again. Just explain for people, I mean, obviously we've had a vaccine already with the Pfizer-BioNtec one, but why this one specifically is so important?
It's important because unlike the Pfizer-BioNtec vaccine, this one can be stored in your fridge, my fridge. It can be transported at fridge temperature, whereas the Pfizer jab has to be very carefully handled and transported at -70. So that immediately takes away the problems about getting it into village surgeries, into care homes. And globally, it's important too, because AstraZeneca is planning to produce 3 billion doses of this vaccine in 2021, and it'll play a really important role in trying to bring the global pandemic to an end.
And can you just explain, Fergus, what we understand now about the rollout, who'll get it, when, etc.?
So a very, very interesting shift in strategy here on both the Oxford and the Pfizer jabs. That initially the Pfizer jab, there was a 3-week interval between dosing, and the Oxford trials, it was a 4-week interval between dosing. But now the government is saying that the NHS will provide both these vaccines with up to a 12-week interval between first and second dosing. And that's an important shift because it means that millions, potentially tens of millions of more people will be protected because they simply won't be doing the second dose straight away. And it'll allow this race between the vaccine and the virus. It'll allow us, hopefully, to protect many, many more people, which is urgently needed given the really grim news we've been hearing about cases and the impact on the NHS.
And some people might listen to that and feel slightly anxious that they might get their first shot and then it might wear off effectively by the time the second shot comes along 12 weeks later. But this obviously isn't just a political decision. There's science behind why they're able to do this.
There is science behind this on both the vaccines. Protection kicks in 2 to 3 weeks afterwards. And for example, on the Oxford trials, 3 weeks after getting their first dose of vaccine, nobody who received the Oxford jab was then hospitalized with COVID-19, with severe COVID. So it will protect against severe disease. It might not stop you getting a COVID infection. It might not stop you getting a little bit ill. But the key thing is if it prevents people being so ill they are admitted to hospital, that would really blunt this pandemic. So there's very good evidence on that. People do need their second dose, but what this will allow is more people to get that initial protection.
And will the rollout in terms of who gets it and when, will that remain the same for this as was already outlined for the Pfizer-BioNtec one?
Yes, that will remain. So it's the over 80s, and then after the over 80s are done, we'll then go in tranches of 5 years, the 75 plus, the 70 plus. Frontline NHS workers and care home workers and people in care homes obviously also at the top of the list. And then some other really important groups, people who are extremely clinically vulnerable will be part of that, and also people with underlying health conditions. About 25 million people in the first tranche of the over 50s. And once all of those are immunized, that would take away about 99% of those at risk of dying from COVID-19. But an absolutely massive task to do that. It would involve really 2 million people a week would need to be immunized between now